one semiconductor stock that is about to break out. It's an AI stock. It's collaborated with Nvidia for years and is interoperable with Nvidia's Blackwell chips. After numerous iterations and revisions, the company is ALAB, Astera Labs, ALAB is the ticker. And if there's any time to ride Nvidia's coattails, it's right as Nvidia is breaking out. If you like this type of info, hit that like button.
This is Sam Putnam.
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 So here is the collaboration, okay? In detail, they've been working for generations, but they also have worked specifically on the interoperability with Blackwell. Now, it's not to say that Nvidia themselves is announcing these collaborations, okay? Yes, that maybe they have announced some collaborations, but I think it's largely been sort of ALAB, setting up press releases, optimizing their chips for NVIDIA's, which NVIDIA's are obviously the most cutting edge and the hot item that these Metas, Amazons, OpenAI all needs in order to have their LLMs run seamlessly. So we'll get into some reasoning on actual numbers, earnings and sales that made this 100 to 250 run happen just in the last couple few months. But since then, we've had a pullback, okay? So typically I wouldn't really talk about buying stocks on a pullback, but when they come to a level that's very easy to risk off of, and this thing is well above the 200-day moving average. It's not like I'm telling you to buy a stock that's just been going down, 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 like ServiceNow or anything like that. I'm not saying to buy a dip like this because it was up over here. This is a specific pullback from a run, from a breakout. So could it base here? It probably could. If it goes sideways here, that's really healthy actually. But what the opportunity is right now is you're getting an opportunity after a pullback to sort of get positioned, so just in case it does sort of grind up. And then you can risk off of this level, which is 189 or the like. Yeah, 190 is a whole dollar level, just about, maybe 195, depending on where exactly it trades in the next few days. You risk a dollar, risk a few dollars, and then you make 10, 20, sell half your position. Maybe you hold more for a bigger move up. Do you get chopped out a lot? Sure. Okay. But best hedge funds are right 55% of the time. They get chopped out a ton. So all you have to do is have your winners be significantly larger. This is the revenue from that big move, almost 200 million, 150% year-over-year increase, and projections that are growth. So it's interesting. They introduced a new family of data center switches for AI workloads, double the bandwidth and power efficiency compared to previous generations, and it makes them a competitor to the AVGos, the Broadcoms. So Broadcom itself hasn't really been a stock that is, easy to get positioned to. This is insane, obviously, but like, how are you going to buy that? I actually did try to buy it and I got chopped out. But if you look at Nvidia, it just is a little easier in terms of a breakout. Goes straight up, goes sideways, and then it looks like it's breaking out. It's kind of similar to a Tesla. Massive breakout opportunity, massive, after earnings, euphoria. Tesla's a little meme, so that's not a great example, but here's the opportunity here. Breakout, goes up. This is the kind of thing where you can get positioned in. Here's sort of I hesitate to say buy the dip because this is after a huge run. I'm not saying to time the bottom or anything crazy like that. This is just an opportunity to risk off of a level and then maybe get in before we start to sort of grind higher and then maybe digest and form a big move up. So why don't I just wait until we actually do that? Well, because this is an opportunity that's present today and it's down a lot. It's unlikely to break through here and go further down, but if it does, you can stop out. So no harm, no foul. Now, what do they basically do? Okay, and is there anything that you should worry about? $500,000, 500,000 shares is not a big deal, even though those are insider sells. When a company trades 3 million shares a day, it's like, a sixth of the daily volume. When I'm zooming in and there's those 1,000 days, this is a misprint. There's no way it traded 1,000 shares on that day. So, not too worried about anything like that, dilution, insider selling, anything crazy like that. I mean, obviously, if these were huge, if this was like 1 million shares, that would be pretty scary. That would be like, Elon selling a bunch of shares to buy X or whatever he did. So, price targets, are 155. Yeah, it's down here, but this was also, let's see, back in this was today, so I don't even know what to do with this. This is dubious if the price target's below and it's a moderate buy. But this makes more sense, 200 and hold. So I don't even look at price targets much at all anyway, but people get excited by them, people talk about them a lot. So here we are talking about price targets. It is what it is. Now, these are the competitors. These are kind of what's more interesting is what are these other stocks doing? LRCX and AMAT are maybe like the similar market cap companies, and LRCX and AMAT are both absolutely euphoric right now. So this is the one that hasn't gone. I mean, it has. It just pulled back. AMD seems to be going. It's got a nice level as well. I talked about that yesterday. Nvidia we talked about a few days ago. And again, the only one that's sort of hard to get positioned in is Broadcom. So, I mean, I guess there's CRDO as well, semi-stock that is similar to ALAB, but there isn't a level to buy it off of. Whereas with ALAB, you have that pivot shelf opportunity. So that's what we're doing here. They do connectivity. Okay, they're in the semi space. Switches are super important. High power switching is essentially what drives, all of AI is extremely fast switching and movements of current over tiny surfaces. Whatever, I'm not in the Fab Lab or whatever, but all we really need to know as investors is these are the other companies. And this company that we're talking about has been collaborating with Nvidia for years, and as well as Intel and AMD as well. But Nvidia is the name that's driving all this growth in the market pretty much right now. And look, they did have a net loss a few years ago, but some serious revenue growth over that time as well. I don't know that necessarily you want to run any crazy price to earnings or something on this kind of stock, but I don't really buy stocks off that anyway, so I don't think that's too worrisome. This is a record revenue, 20% increase, 150% year-over-year growth. I already talked about that, but that's huge. With increasing earnings and sales leads to moves like this. So that's great. And this is solid, huge margin. And now we just have to say, basically, is there any sort of connection that is going to result in a huge spike? Because there has been spikes recently. Intel, government took a stake and then Nvidia invested in them, right? Lithium America, government just had this rare earth announcement that they're going to take a stake in them. MP Materials, another rare earth stake, $400 million Department of Energy investment here, and this thing went up a crazy amount. So we've been looking for the next one, and I'm not saying that ALAB is going to get some sort of deal like AMD and Nvidia with the revenue deal in order to onshore some chip manufacturing. Government wants some revenue. I don't know what's going to happen. We're in a sort of deal frenzy. There are a lot of innovative deals happening here. The people on all sides of the aisle are not sure what's going to happen, but we don't have to worry about that. All we have to do is say, risk a few dollars, make 20, make 30. And specifically, to get granular, this is sort of important. These compressed days, this high, 190, see it sort of hit it, bounced, hit it, bounced, hit it, bounced. So if you can risk that level and hold up from there and not sell until you're up 10%, maybe sell some, maybe half, maybe a third. Maybe it comes down some more. Maybe you have enough other positions where you can just let this one ride, follow moving average like this red one, and then sell more once it hits that moving average. Maybe it's up here, maybe it breaks above that 260 level. We'll see what happens if it gets into all-time highs. This is completely uncharted territory if we look at, all of the history on a quarterly basis. We've gone from $50 to $200 in not a long time, a little over 2 years. So almost 2 years. That's the play. Those are the levels. This is the center of the stock market right now. Nvidia and its cronies, and ALAB is collaborating with them all. Of course, they're built on AWS, but we're not going to say they're collabing with AWS. They could just be using a massive amount of their services. So if they do develop a new chip, that'll be a massive boon for sure, but we'll believe it when we see it. If you like these sort of videos, this sort of analysis, head over to stockscommunity.com. Try it out for $25 for 7 days. It is kind of like a library, like these videos. We're not talking a lot. It's not a day trading room. We're not loud, just yelling about, hey, this news happened. Hey, this spiked because of this. And look at this news. Can we buy this stock as soon as it breaks this level? Sometimes that's helpful, but in general, you can be someone with a full-time job. You can be busy during the day and you can still beat the market. You might not make triple-digit returns like some of these day traders boast, but they're also probably not going to have triple-digit returns forever. And some of them, particularly if they short, actually blow up and lose quite a lot of it. So if they don't blow up, that's great. Support them. But this is not a day trading room. We're not going to condone it for people who are busy. So if that's sort of your MO, if that's interesting to you, head over there. You can ask anything you want for 7 days. And if you like this type of ideation, stock ideas, hit that subscribe button. I will see you in the next one, and rest the old voice.
This is Sam Putnam.
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 This is Sam Putnam.